Today we're talking all about why you should be using ND filters with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So here's Freewell's all-day pack, which essentially is just their regular ND filters, and Freewell was nice to send out all these filters to test for today's video. And we're actually going to be doing a giveaway of these all-day pack filters, which are the regular ND filters that go from ND4 all the way to ND1000. Make sure you stay till the end of the video to see how to enter. Now, if you're like me, you may have moved to the Mini 3 Pro from using a drone like DJI's Mavic 2 Pro. Now, in the Mavic 2 Pro, it was one of the last drones, at least they've made in a while, that actually had a variable aperture in camera. Now, that drone specifically having the variable aperture in camera meant that you could either use one kind of ND filter and just stop down your aperture as you needed, or you could just stop down your aperture in general and maybe not have to use an ND filter if you're the type of filmmaker or drone pilot that needed to constantly change your exposure while you're midair. Now, with the Mini 3 Pro, it has a constant aperture of f1.7, which is really great, especially if you're trying to film at night with this thing. However, that means if you're filming during the day and it's nice and sunny out like it is right here today, you're definitely going to want to be using ND filters for a few reasons. Number one, if you're trying to use the 180-degree rule because you want more motion blur in your videos, or you're filming and mixing the footage from this drone with other cameras that are following the 180-degree rule, that's going to be probably the biggest. The other is going to have to do with glare. Now, regular ND filters do cut out a little bit of glare, but you may notice, I'll put this right up to the camera so you could see. Right here on the Mini 3 Pro, we're actually using Freewell's polarized ND filter. This filter goes a little bit beyond just cutting out the glare because number one, as you can see, you can rotate this little wheel right here depending on if you're in horizontal or video mode, and they're really good about giving you the little dot to show you where you need to do it depending on what mode you need to be. But using a polarizer not only cuts out a little bit of the glare, but it's also really useful if you're filming over water or you're filming with buildings with heavy reflections on them, and it will cut out the glare even more in those situations. The other thing it does is if you're doing things like filming the sunrise, it gives you a much more vibrant sky, meaning your blues are going to be a little bit more blue, your reds are going to be a little bit more red. And so whenever I've been filming my sunrises, I have absolutely been using the polarized filter from Freewell. So right here, you'll see here is the bright day filters from Freewell, which are essentially all polarized filters. It goes from just a regular polarized filter, then ND4, 8, 16, 32, and 64. So when it comes to when you use them, when you want to use ND4 is pretty much when you're filming the sunrise and sunset specifically. When you're using ND8 or 16, it's going to be because you're filming on a cloudy day. You still need a little bit of ND, but you definitely don't need a crazy amount to keep that 180-degree shutter rule. When it comes to 32 and 64, those are going to be when you're shooting during the middle of the day, kind of like we're doing right now. I have an ND64 right here just to use on some of this test footage, and it's because it is the middle of the day, the sun's right over us, so it's pretty much the brightest part of the day. Now, I use the polarized filters almost exclusively on the Mini 3 Pro just because most of the time I'm filming over water and or with buildings with heavy reflections on them. Plus, I'm doing a lot of early morning and late evening shooting, so I want to get the sky to look as vibrant and beautiful as possible, and these polarized filters really help. So here is how to take on and off the ND filters. The pro part of the Mini 3 Pro is the fact that it is made to be used with ND filters. As you can see right here, we're going to take the filter off, and here's the camera. And you can see it has little notches in the camera for ND filters. And to put the filter back on, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3, and we're back on. So this camera specifically is made to be used with ND filters, and I think that's part of the reason why you definitely want to use them, because it's not like you're adding extra weight to the camera. When you use these filters, you are still staying below the 250 gram requirement. So I think if you're using this and you're trying to get really professional looking video, you should absolutely be using ND filters. When it comes to using polarized or non-polarized, I think it's going to depend on what you're going for. So I have a small little lake behind me, so we're gonna go take the drone right now and fly really quick so I can show you what using an ND polarized filter looks like, and also what it looks like when you're not using an ND polarized filter. As you can see from that footage, using the ND filter, looking at the foreground, you can see there's a lot more motion blur. In addition to that, you can also see that there's a lot less glare and reflections off of the water in that pond. Plus, if you look at some of the sunrise sunset footage, you'll see that the reds and the blues just pop out, which is why I like using the polarized versions of the Freewell filters. Now, we use the 180-degree rule because when using it, you can probably tell that a lot of the footage looks more realistic to what your eye can see, and that's why it's so popular in film and television. Whereas when you crank your shutter up really high, it doesn't really look quite realistic. Now, if you're filming things like buildings or just objects that are really far away, then the 180-degree rule doesn't take as much effect. There isn't as much motion blur when filming those objects from far away. With using these ND filters and the 180-degree rule on the Mini 3 Pro, you could probably tell that the footage looks like you're going a lot faster in this example footage with the grass in the foreground, versus when you don't have the ND filter, it just looks like you're going slightly not as fast. But that's just another little bonus for me. If you have any questions about the Freewell ND filters, make sure to ask in the comments below. But let's talk about this giveaway, and thank you again to Freewell for sending out these filters to do the giveaway and also to do this little video on ND filters today. So this pack right here comes with an ND 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 1000, and it's used specifically for the DJI Mini 3 Pro. The rules to enter this giveaway is as follows. Number 1, you need to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and you have your subscriptions on public so we can see. Number 2, in the comments below, let me know what you were planning to film with these ND filters and use the hashtag ND giveaway. Number 3, you have to be over 18 years of age and you need to be a resident of the United States. So I'm only going to be shipping these in the USA. However, you're not going to have to pay for anything. I'll be shipping these out to you free of charge to whoever wins. So make sure you follow those 3 rules. I'll be announcing the winners of this giveaway at the end of August, beginning of September here in 2022, in case you're watching this in the future and the giveaway has already been done. So make sure you subscribe to keep up to date so you can see when we do this live stream, where again, I will be announcing the winner to this live. So hopefully you're there and you can join in on the fun. So if you've never used ND filters with drones, I hope you've learned today why they're really important to do so. And if you got knowledge and value out of today's video, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Until next time, my name's Jeff Fagan. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video.